Welcome to Life Planning 101, brought to you by Kennedy Financial Services of Eastland. Tune in every Monday morning at 8:30 on KATX, and again on Saturday morning at 9 on KATX and KWBY as Angela Robinson joins Terry Slavens to share important financial information to help you live life on purpose. Insurance, investments, estate and tax planning, and much more. All covered now on Life Planning 101.
And hello, everybody. Welcome into Life Planning 101, KATX and KWBY, as it is every Monday. A lot of folks on vacation, but Angela's taking time out of hers.
Yes, and for good reason. I actually have a fun topic this morning. I came across a headline saying, "Won a financial windfall." And so I opened it up and I started clicking and reading and started researching, and I couldn't stop. I was having so much fun with this topic. So I thought, what a great headline. Would you like a financial windfall? And I think we all would, right?
Yeah.
Yes. So the good news is you can create one. That's the cool thing. And I'm going to talk about how to do that on the show today. The neat thing is as I was researching this, I've got stuff from USA Today. I've got stuff from Mental Floss, one of my favorite magazines out there. And they did this really cool thing called By the Numbers, and it's how Americans spend their money. And if you don't want to miss this part of the show, because I'm going to have you rolling. I promise you that. And then I also have another article that was able to research up in the show, and it's 10 things Americans waste on money that I can't understand. And this was written by Gio Matero. She's an Italian-born lady, and I thought it was very interesting, an Italian moving to America, living in our culture for a while, and thinking, why are Americans doing these things? But as I read it, I thought, this is really insightful. This is really good reflection to think about your priorities in life. So all of this is great information. We're going to have fun on the show today. Absolutely. But the most important thing is I think all of us could agree the fact that we need more money. Right?
Well, yeah.
There's no doubt about that. And, the thing is there was an article in USA Today, and it was talking about, on average, Americans spend $11.14 on lunch 2 times a week. And if you think about that, you probably do the same or an equivalent thereof, right? So the study proposed that if those same average Americans invested the money they spent on eating out for lunch and it earned a modest 6% return, 30 years later, they would have a windfall of about $88,500. Lunch just got a lot more expensive, didn't it?
Yeah.
Funny thing was my husband comes up to me right as I'm writing this article out. He says, "Don't you want to go to lunch today?" I'm thinking, yeah, maybe not. But it is true. We all think about the fact that, that we have these habits, every one of us, and it doesn't matter what it is. Some of us, it is eating out and I know I've been there. I've had those days where I just have to get out of the office and I don't want to go home, and it's hot outside. I live in Texas, so I'm not going to go sit in a park and eat my lunch, right? But, you just want to go out and eat. So all of us have a habit. And whether it's the fact that we drink bottled water all the time, good habit, but it's still a habit, right? Does bottled water cost more than getting a filtration system and over time? Yeah, absolutely. Binge shopping. I know a lot of people, that's their release, so to speak. Amazon.com, right? For Prime shipping. Oh, it's free. Oh, it's only $3. Well, $3 plus $3 plus $3 plus $3 over time starts to add up, right? Junk food. We all have as Americans, right? We are the junk food nation, so to speak, and it doesn't matter. But everybody has their vice when it comes to junk food. Mine happens to be chocolate. So I think we all think about that, right? Coffee shop coffee, rather than brewing your own pot for a whole 80 cents. A lot of people enjoy going to get their brew at a coffee shop. And I know if you're listening in Cisco, Texas right now, Waverly's is going to kill me for talking about this. But, the truth is that we all have that. I'm the same way. We don't have any coffee shops necessarily in Eastland. So when I go out of town, I enjoy getting coffee shop coffee. I enjoy the atmosphere. I enjoy the smell. It's an ambiance, right? They're very good at marketing. They're very good at sales. They've got this down, right? But and especially for our listeners that live in the city, if you drive by one of these places every day and you buy a coffee that's $2, $3, $5 versus brewing that 88 cents pot of coffee, what are you actually doing over time, right? Smoking. I mean, that's an obvious one. We've been learning about how smoking kills our budget for years, right? Soft drinks, same thing, right? How many times are you going to Sonic during the week, or going and getting what are those drinks at the
slushies?
Yeah, the slushies or whatever else, right?
Slushy.
Big gulp.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Well, no, and you're exactly right. When you can basically make the same thing for a quarter at home.
Yes, exactly. And you're going out to do it. It's ease. It's ease. We're Americans. Everything's about being easy, right? Alcohol. You think about what you spend on alcohol going out versus having your drinks at home. And that could be big. Or just not drinking one night out of the week might save you. If it's me and my husband, we usually drink a bottle of wine. It's 2 glasses of wine a piece. Or I may have 1, he may have 3. But it's a bottle of wine. So, you're
right.
looking at $15-$20. Well, if we cut one night out a week, that's $15 or $20 that we're able to cut out. That's pretty big, right? So, and it may not seem like a lot, but when you start adding up those things, it becomes like that average American that's spending $11-14 on lunch. And is that costing you a future windfall with your money, right? So we have a Twitter poll today. I actually broke this out. And technically, if you save, just to answer me this, do you think you could save $3.18 a day?
Oh, yeah.
$3.18, right. So if you did that at 8% return, okay, it comes out to about $95 a month is what it comes out to. Over 30 years, that's about $142,000.
Yeah.
Wow. Yes. So tweet us. We want to know at KFS Life Planning, can you find $3.18 a day to save? When we come back, you're not going to want to miss By the Numbers, how Americans spend their money. I promise you it's going to have you rolling.
All right, and you're listening to Life Planning 101 on KATX KWBY. And it's Life Planning 101 on KATX and KWBY.
That's right. And we are talking about a financial windfall created by your habit. Pick a habit.
Yeah, really.
Right.
Really.
So
here's the list.
That's
Check
right.
yours.
That's right. And it's really, this show is really meant to be introspective and get you thinking about your priorities. We always have that saying that the young person you are today is going to be the one to take care of the old person you're going to be someday. And that's really true. So, even though you think, oh, I'm only spending $10 on this, $10 when it adds up over time could be $100,000.
Well, and there's a PSA out there about the guy talking about putting money aside for Steve 2047.
Yes.
And really it's funny, but it makes a lot of sense.
Oh, it does. It absolutely does. So, and I love there's all these systems that, takes all your pennies, saves all your pennies. So when you make a purchase, if it's, $1.49, it's going to put 51 cents in the savings for you. All of these things that you can take advantage of today because the technology are there. You just got to do it. So with introspection in mind, I want to give you some information out of an article I did some research on, which had us rolling in the office. I had everyone circled around me reading these because they were really funny, but it's there. And I think because there's a lot of reality in it, but it's what Americans spend their money on. And it was done by Lucas Riley out of the magazine Mental Floss, which by the way is really awesome. So, and this was in July 17th of 2012. So it's a little old. So these numbers are probably bigger, but get this. We spend $550 million a year on pretzels in the United States.
Okay.
Okay. All right. St. Patrick's Day, $4.14 billion for St. Patty's Day. Think about that.
Okay.
And I'm Irish, okay? I'm a Kennedy. So, and that one still shocks me. Pet Halloween costumes. Pet, not your Halloween costumes. Pet Halloween costumes. $310 million.
Wow.
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Okay. Girl Scout cookies, $800 million.
Well, now look. Wait a minute there. You're getting kind of personal.
I know. Cut back a box, Ron. $1, retirement savings. Okay. Video games, $17 billion. Wow, right? Soft drinks, $65 billion. Okay. And if you think you don't have a bad habit, bottled water, $11 billion.
Wow.
Wow. Yeah, get you a filter. Fast food, $117 billion. Dollar store purchases, 30 billion. So ringtones. Now this number was worldwide. They didn't have one for just America, but still. And by the way, this is 5 years old. So once you think about these numbers are probably a lot bigger. Okay. Ringtones, 5 billion. So next time you go to think about buying a ringtone, think again about your retirement. Is that your windfall you're giving up, right?
Yeah, just go for the free ones.
Right. And I saved, of course, the best two, or I say really the best four for last, okay? Tattoos. Are we ready? 2.3 billion. The next on the list was tattoo removal for 66 million. Right? Okay. Twinkies. 500 million. And of course, Matt, which you may know, Matt Irvin, that is in our office and often visits on the radio show Advisor, he says, well, what was the cost of Twinkie removal? It was not listed. So I believe that cost is absolutely unknown, right?
Well, I think you could extrapolate that from gym membership.
Yes, exactly right. So, there's an old adage, and we use this a lot. My dad and I remember when I was a kid, watch your pennies and your dollars will be there,
yes.
right? And it's so true. And we were just laughing in the break about my son. My dad, oh gosh, he taught him to go underneath the bleachers at his cousin's basketball games and go look for money. And so he'll come up, he'll find a couple pennies or quarters, and he's so excited about this money.
Well, same. My daughter, my youngest daughter, I have a habit of the way my bucket seats are. I throw my change into the passenger floorboard.
Right.
My youngest daughter offers to clean my car out. And for some strange reason, I never get the change back.
There you go.
So they're not, the kids are pretty smart.
They're smart. So, but if we all kind of had that excitement and dedication towards our own pennies, right? Wouldn't it be a little bit better, and wouldn't we be in a little bit better place? Here's something to really consider, okay? So if you plan to retire, and in my opinion, before I even say this, I think this is a little stout. I would never advise this for anybody. If you plan to retire for 30 years, so in other words, you have a crystal ball and you're going to be retired for 30 years, okay? And you need $5,000 a month to live on. It would take $1,060,751 to get it from point A to point B if it just earned consistently, 6% a year with 2% inflation. And there was no hiccups, right? It's not going to happen. So, that number's probably going to be a lot less. Okay. Here's the truth of all this. The average 50-year-old today, any guesses on how much they have saved?
$500,000 maybe.
Try again.
25,000.
No, you're getting close. So this was as of 2016, the Motley Fool, and it was 20 money stats that'll blow you away. $42,797.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. And they all need at least $1 million. You know that, right?
Yeah.
And 36% of Americans aren't saving at all. 36%. Yet we spend $550 million on pretzels.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Or pet Halloween costumes or tattoos, tattoo removal, like your pick, whatever.
Twinkie removal.
Yes. Yes, exactly. So, so avoiding those Twinkies may be more beneficial in more ways than one, right? So you get double the cost and you get to save it, So I go back to that original question. Can you find about $3 a day to save, right? And I think we all can, but the fact is we're not doing it. Why? Why aren't we doing that? Why aren't we taking the effort? So, I want to make a challenge to our listeners on the show. I want you to be able to set up an automatic draft out of your account for $100 a month. If you can set up $100 a month, instead of going into just some simple mutual fund or something that's growing, just leave it alone, leave it there to grow, find something that's going to grow 6 or 8% a year and let that happen. If that grew 8% a year for 30 years, you'd have $150,000 by the end of that time. A simple $100 a month. It's a little over $3 a day. We all do it. We just found it, right? We found the money.
Right.
My dad always said when you're planning, when he taught me, he was, he'd sit down and we'd look at all the files and everything else. And, you could see the holes and you could see where people needed different things. He said, okay, now you see the holes. Now you have to find the money. I said, excuse me? And he says, yes, you have to find the money in the budget to be able to fill the holes. And this is the money in the budget to fill the holes. It's our excess. It's our fat. It's the things that we don't necessarily need. And as Americans, we got a big problem here. If we're spending that much money, yet we've only got $43,000 saved at age 50 on average. Ouch! That's not good, right? So, it's all about, having that self-discipline and having that introspect. And it's hard. I was reading my devotional this morning about, your love, patience, kindness, goodness, right? All these things, self-control. How many of us are good with that one? I know I'm not, right? So, when we can always get a little better. And so, challenge yourself. Have an automatic draft. We've got all the technology out there. Or get on one of those systems that saves all your pennies from every purchase. See how it goes. Do something to be able to help yourself take care of the person that you're going to be someday, right? So, we're going to take a quick break. And when we come back, we're going to talk about Miss Gia Matero that wrote this article that 10 things Americans waste the money on that she can't understand. Now, here's the thing that is so exciting about this is that if none of this got your goat, if you're really that disciplined and you don't spend any ridiculous money, I found more money for you. So you won't want to miss this.
All right, stay tuned. Much more coming your way on Life Planning 101. And we're back. It's Life Planning 101 on KATX 97.7, KWBY 98.5, and here's the star of the show, Angela Robinson.
The star of the show. I like that.
Yeah.
Anyway, we've got a great topic today. We're talking about, do you want a financial windfall? And if you do, we're telling you how to get one. So it's pretty exciting. And I do have something fun to kind of share with you. So I don't know. I'm a numbers geek, obviously. But if you were to download, you can get on your app store and you can actually download a free financial calculator. And I'm actually going to share on the show with you how to work this sucker so that you could actually go play with some numbers and say, if I save this much per day, what's this going to come out to, yada, yada. Because I think it's really cool for all of us to work our own numbers. When we start to do that, it starts to get real, and then you can you'll be more dedicated to do it. If I just tell you, save $3 a day, it's a lot harder for you to want to do that. But if you actually say, if I want to have this amount of money in this amount of years, this is what I need to do to get there, and then you kind of can work backwards with that. So there's actually 5 keys on that financial calculator you're going to use, okay? N is going to represent the number of months that you're going to save. You're going to save by the month, okay? I'm going to teach you how to save by the month. You can't save by any other way, but by the month. So N is the number of months that you're going to save, all right? So if it's for 30 years, that's 360 months, right? I/Y, that is actually your yield. That's what you're going to be earning, okay? So if you're earning 8% a year, you would need to do, and you need to write this down, 8 divided by 12 equals, and then you hit the I button, I/Y button, because if you think about it, you're earning it monthly because you're depositing monthly. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. Okay, so you press that as your yield, all right? Your present value is your PV, that's your third button, and that's virtually what you have saved so far today. Okay. If you have 0 saved, you put 0. If you have a certain number saved, put that number and make it a negative. It's very important that you make that a negative number. Okay. You have to have 2 negatives equal a positive with the system. I don't know why it does that. I missed that in class. But you have to have 2 negatives equal a positive. Okay. So, and then you're going to put your payment. That's the amount you want to save each month. So your PMT is your payment. So if it's $100 a month or whatever that is. Okay. And then you're going to hit CPT, which means compute, and hit your future value. Okay, and that'll give you what amount you want saved. If you want an X amount of dollars to save, you put your future value in and you hit CPT payment, and it'll compute the payment that you need to make or the savings that you need to save. Okay, so it's a very cool thing to be able to use. Now remember, I know I talked through this a lot fast because we don't have much time on the show, but you can always go back and listen to the show again at katxradio.com, kwbyradio.com. We've got this on iTunes, iHeartRadio. We're everywhere. You can go on our website, kennedy-financial.com, and find us. This will also be in our weekly life lessons this week, so you could sign up for that on kennedy-financial.com. And by the way, there's a lot of great information in there. It's really good. So multiple ways to be able to do that and take note of that and then play with those numbers. It's fun. I say it's fun. I'm a geek. But, when it comes to your own dollars, I think everybody gets excited about doing that, right? So it is really good, and it's good for you to do that yourself. So if, we talked about a lot, and if it's not Twinkies or tattoos or bottled water or coffee or cigarettes or whatever that you can find a way to save money, Miss Gia Matero wrote an article last year. It was titled 10 Things Americans Waste on Money That I Can't Understand. Okay, and this comes from thefinancialdiet.com. And she mentioned everything from, get this, gym memberships. And think about that. How many times do we spend money on gym memberships and we use them? Don't use them, right? Okay. Maybe just go buy yourself something to put in your house. That's probably the best thing to do, right?
Yeah.
That might work a little better, right? Extreme air conditioning and heat. Now, as Texans, this is so true, and y'all cannot deny this.
No.
When you walk out, you walk from outside into a restaurant, you freeze your wazoo off in that restaurant, and then you walk back out into the heat, right? Mm-hmm. And my husband, being from Montana, was like, "Why do y'all do that? Why do y'all do that? It's crazy y'all do that." But we all do it. So what if you turned up the temperature 1 degree in your house or 2 degrees in your house? Would it kill you?
No.
Probably not. We could all do it, right? Okay, so if it's that important to be able to save money for your future, might be worth 2 degrees, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
So, but we're all guilty of that. So think of that. And she says, in Europe, that's not the case. That's not how they do it. Fashion that goes away tomorrow rather than being timeless pieces. She talked about, Europe, of course, and France, Paris is the fashion place of the world, and they use timeless pieces, not just what's in at the latest and greatest and then replace it next week. And we're guilty of that. Buying bulk at the grocery store at Costco's or Sam's. Worse than that, what ends up going bad? I saw the sign headed to DFW this weekend, and it had some atrocious number on how much food is wasted per person a year. Pounds of food, like 500 pounds of food. Yeah. It's ridiculous. But we do that as Americans. And she says it's a cliche from Americans. They actually make fun of us for this. They're crazy. Yeah, but it's true. Then we want bigger homes, bigger kitchens, bigger beds, bigger TVs, bigger everything, right? Can we just be satisfied with standard, what we have? Why can't we be satisfied with that? And, the thing is this was a very enlightening article for me to read. It gave reflection for myself on really, what are your priorities? James Frick, he was someone who arguably transformed the University of Notre Dame. And he famously said, "Don't tell me where your priorities are. Show me where you spend your money, and I'll tell you what they are." Think about that. So it may be hard to keep your future finances on the top of your priority list, but I want you to think of something. I want you to ask yourself, if I get there, if I get to retirement or I get to a place that I can't work, and I didn't do this, would I regret it? Yeah. So if that's the case, come back to our challenge. What amount of money can you just save on a daily basis that you're throwing away right now? Commit to it. Just put it back. Have it auto-drafted. Disappear. You can't see it for 30 years, 20 years, 10 years, whatever that number is, right? Let it happen, because I promise you'll create your own windfall if you do such. And I can't make much promises on the show, but I can make that one. So, make sure that you take care of the old person that you're going to be someday. My name is Angela Robinson with Kennedy Financial Services here in Eastland, Texas. God bless, and happy 4th of July.
Thank you for joining us for Life Planning 101, brought to you by Kennedy Financial Services of Eastland. Tune in every Monday morning at 8:30 on KATX and again on Saturday morning at 9 o'clock on KATX and KWBY for more Life Planning 101.
Advisory services offered through Smart Money Group, LLC, a registered investment advisor. Securities offered through Calton & Associates Incorporated, member FINRA SIPC. Kennedy Financial Services Incorporated is an independent of Calton & Associates Incorporated and Smart Money Group, LLC.